everybody, it's Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. If you want to have a priceless experience, then you'll stay tuned to Mega Powers Radio. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
Shut up.
What's shaking, Mega Maniacs? It is Monday, March 21st. We are 2 weeks away from WrestleMania, and you are tuned in to the most interactive post-Raw experience available, the Raw Post Show here on Mega Powers Radio. If this is your first time tuning in, we're going to be inviting you all throughout the night to tell us what you thought about Raw, what you think about this build to WrestleMania, whatever the heck else may be on your mind. Lots of excitement I'm sure we got to have. Blockbuster announcement from Mr. McMahon at the end of the show here. Well, not at the very end of the show, which was kind of weird, but Undertaker potentially wrestling his final WrestleMania. We had some other developments finally happening, and we're getting into the tail end here, really getting things taking shape for it, and we want to know what y'all out there got to say. But before we get there, let me tell you how you can participate and how you can support the show here. We are on Patreon, where you can do a voluntary subscription. We do this show for free, ad-free, but if you want to support us for as little as $1 a month, you can subscribe to us and help us keep the lights on, bringing you the cool shows we do. You can find us all places podcasts are on: iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all those places you normally would want to support something, you might want to keep in touch. We're there. Find us there, and we'll talk to you. And, of course, you can also support us just by joining us live every single Monday here on Mega Powers Radio. Participate. Tweet to us at Raw Post Show. We got the chat room rolling. Give a shout-out to the folks we got here early at the beginning of the show. We got already in the chat Kenneth Cade, Undertaker 123, because Undertaker 1 through 122 were apparently taken. We got Kaylin Ferris, Moro Supremo, Silent Wind of Doom, Ben Guest 1, and Wazili. Shoutouts to all you cool cats there. We also got 5 people listening elsewhere. If you want to participate in the chat and you're listening to on Facebook or the Mega Powers Radio page, just navigate to the Mixler page. You'll find the big chat room there. All these other people there where you can participate in 2 conversations. And
the big chat.
The big chat. The big Chaz.
That's the creepiest chat.
And you can also, of course, I think I hit everything. Oh no, we got the voice midget widget. The voice midget.
The voice midget. I guess I gotta write this down for the jokes.
Yeah, we got Hornswoggle standing by, ready to take your calls on megapowersradio.com.
Even though he was mute for a while.
He wasn't mute. He just went. Da, 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 da.
He was Taz for a while.
Taz Jr. So, Tony, always like to start off here. What's the big thing you took away from the show? And obviously, it can't be a midget if it's big.
Well, there goes that idea. I don't really know. I mean, I kind of thought that this was sort of a blah episode.
Yeah, we had someone in the chat saying this was an anticlimactic ending. Does anyone else think that? I kind of got to feel the same way.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I don't know if, they could have moved other parts to the main event, or if it was just sort of like they didn't really have all that much, but it kind of seemed like this was an episode of Raw where they needed to announce a couple things, and that's it. You know what I mean?
When we got to about the 2-hour point of the show, I looked and it was like, we only have had 3 matches so far.
Mm.
And only one of them was any good.
I can't even remember what matches they were. We had what? It was what was the first match tonight?
Styles and Owens. You got to remember that one.
That was the first match?
Yeah.
I remember the match happening, but I could have sworn that was well, that makes sense. I was going to say I could have sworn that was 45 minutes into the show. It probably was.
Yeah. Well, we had the opening segment, and then that match went 20, 30 minutes. Not 30 minutes, but went 20 minutes.
Yeah, that actually was good.
Yeah. But everything else just kind of glazed by. I can't remember any other match that we had throughout the night, even while I'm looking at the notes right here. It's like, man, those were all pretty useless. But big thing that we had tonight that was announced was Vince McMahon coming out a little bit before the 11 o'clock hour. This should have been what closed the show. It wasn't, but we'll get to what closed the show. Vince McMahon came out saying that at WrestleMania, in the Hell in a Cell match between Undertaker and Shane McMahon, if Undertaker is not victorious, it will be his last WrestleMania. Now, we can only assume that means the end of the Undertaker period. I mean, why is he just going to continue wrestling not at WrestleMania?
But they are being vague enough that they can kind of piss away a lot of ideas. You know, it could be like, well, this is going to be your last WrestleMania this year. Or like, they could do that kind of bullshit. They've done that kind of stuff in the past. But if it's like, it's sort of a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because they're advertising it to kind of make you think he's going to retire. If he loses and he doesn't retire, people are going to be like, oh, that's bullshit. You acted like he was going to retire. If he does, then people are going to be like, that's bullshit. Your last match was against Shane McMahon. And then if Shane loses, then it kind of seems like that's all like for nothing. And I'm getting more of a feeling that this isn't something that they actually wanted to do, and it's more so that they're. I think it was Wago that brought it out on the Mega Maniacs chat of just like, man, they seem desperate. It's like, guys, what are we gonna do for WrestleMania? I don't know. Shane and Taker and Hell in a Cell and control of Raw and a retirement.
Yeah, they had those segments where they had the legends coming in and talking about the segment, and one of them, I can't remember who, but was like just running down the list of why this match was awesome. It's like Shane McMahon returning? Well, that's a main event match. Undertaker at WrestleMania? That's a main event match. Hell in a Cell? Well, that's a main event match. Control of the Company? Well, that's a main event match. This might be the biggest main event in the history of WrestleMania. And that's really like they're just taking every single little facet that they could put together that would be considered something great. And they're just hoping that it's going to come together. You know what it reminds me of? That movie Bridge of Spies, where it's just like you take, well, yeah, let me explain. Like Bridge of Spies, like you just have this A+ formula of everything great. You have the Coen brothers writing it. You have Steven Spielberg directing it. You have Tom Hanks as the star of it. It's like all these excellent parts, and you think it should be the most amazing movie of all time, but it's really not anything that great. So that makes me worry about this match because of that.
Now, if the special guest referee is Mark Rylance, maybe something weird's going to happen. He was good in that movie.
He was great. Maybe you can get an Oscar for that part, too.
And then Shawn Michaels or whoever would be like, Mark Rylance, that's a main event. I think it was Michaels. Was it Michaels?
I don't know. So we had that, but see what else was announced for WrestleMania. Oh, I guess we had a certain match put together for an Intercontinental title.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Okay, so the way things worked out tonight, they did manage to come around, I guess, to where that may be a multi-man match for the Intercontinental title. Although that is not the verbiage that Stephanie McMahon did use exactly. Stephanie McMahon said that there will be a ladder match. And she said that, like, yes, as a resolution to Kevin Owens complaining about there being 6 guys that beat him up. But she didn't say the ladder match was going to be with those 6 guys.
Before she said the ladder match, she said, you're going to defend it against all 6 of them. And then he went, what? And she was like, and another thing, since you said about the ladder match, then that's why it was like, oh, and it's a ladder match too, fuck you. Even though it was like, that's a bit of a stretch for her to just be like, and you said something about climbing, which means ladder match.
Okay. All right, well, either way, I mean, that's probably where that's going. Again, it's just like one of those things where you're trying to argue verbiage when it's like, all right, well, we know what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
I will still defend they have not built for this at all. Okay?
I'll point out this. They did not build well for it.
Well, let's run down every participant who is going to be in this ladder match, and let's look at what they've been doing leading up to WrestleMania. Okay? Zack Ryder. Jack shit. He's been doing a tag team down in NXT, and they got their fans. Good for them. That's fine. Sin Cara getting his ass beat by Ryback in 2 minutes and saying "see you later" before Kalisto gets interviewed.
You know what? I'm convinced Sin Cara and Zack Ryder wouldn't have been in this match if Neville and Cesaro were ready. Neville, at the very least, Neville had to have been Zack Ryder's spot. I mean, I like Ryder. It's something that I'm not going to be complaining that Ryder's in there. I know I got a text from Dace throughout that where he was just kind of like, yes, Ryder's for WrestleMania. But, I mean, when it comes to Ziggler and it comes to The Miz and Sami Zayn...
We're getting to them. We're getting to them.
Those guys I'll defend a little bit more. When you throw the other three people out there, or it's Stardust, I'll defend Stardust a little bit. Zack Ryder and Sin Cara, no fucking way.
That's why I got them out of the way early.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just ridiculous.
So Stardust, that was the next one I did want to go into. So he hasn't done jack shit this year either. We haven't seen anything of him until lately. He has been losing unmotivated, unimportant matches on random events. Most notably that one against Sami Zayn at Roadblock.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, yeah, now that we see this come together, it's like, oh, well, obviously you could say this was building to this. It was just a random match. And we said that the night of it too. It had no meaning whatsoever that night. It was just a random match to be an exhibition to show off Sami Zayn. So it wasn't like feeding a feud or anything like that.
No, see what they were doing with this was they wasn't terrible grammar there. They weren't building towards like, it was obvious that if you were to take them like standalone, like if you said what's Goldust, what's Stardust going to do at WrestleMania? I'm botching all over the place here. If you said to somebody who wasn't a normal,
what is Goldust going to do at WrestleMania?
That's true. Yeah, ain't going to be fighting for the tag titles. But if you had somebody who wasn't like a long-standing wrestling fan and you said, what do you think that this Stardust guy is going to do at WrestleMania? They would have been like, I don't know, fight Goldust or something. Like there was no clear direction. But knowing how they set up these multi-man matches, it felt like the type of thing where it was like, okay, he's fighting Sami Zayn a bunch. That's kind of like what they usually do when it's like Survivor Series and you have a heel against a face every other week, and then it turns out they're on opposite teams. Or last year when we had Barrett and Daniel Bryan and Dean Ambrose and all that, and all they kept doing was revolving those people.
No, we're going to get to comparing to last year too. Hold on, we're getting to all of this. I haven't scratched the surface here yet. Okay, The Miz, he's been playing third wheel to a completely different feud between AJ Styles and Chris Jericho.
Between who and Chris Jericho?
AJ Styles and Christian. AJ Styles. So if there was any multi-man match being built, it was a triple threat between those cats.
Oh, they dropped that like a couple weeks ago.
They did. They definitely cooled off having him involved with that. So he kind of just disappeared. But that's all we've seen of him. Dolph fucking Ziggler. Okay? Getting his ass kicked by Triple H. Getting his ass kicked by Liga Nations, being snarky to Stephanie McMahon, trying to relive glory days from 2 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
How does he get placed into an Intercontinental match?
That's another one of those things where it's like he's not building towards I want a title shot. He's building towards, well, they're clearly doing something with Dolph. What are they going to do? Probably throw him in an IC title match. It's that type of philosophy that goes with why I said earlier, it wasn't like they were building towards it in a way that makes sense. It's just that they were clearly leading in that direction in a poor way.
Undertaker 123, talking about Dolph Ziggler. He thinks he is Shawn Michaels. Nah. Yeah, did you see those tights he was wearing last week? Yeah, it was ridiculous. Okay, and Sami Zayn. He's the only one where we had something on the line with Kevin here. And it wasn't even so much they were building toward. I mean, he just kind of came out one week, but that's fine because they have a long-standing history of unfinished business.
Right.
So that's something you could pull into. This should be a singles match. That's what this was.
Oh, totally should.
Going towards.
weeks ago when I said that I wasn't into the whole Kalisto and Ryback thing, I kept saying, man, I don't want that Kevin Owens multi-man IC title match. And everybody was like, well, what do you think that, you think that's actually going to happen? Whatever. I was like, I knew that's going to happen. And it sucks because I want Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. And I want all those other people to be in the Kalisto Ryback match because that match is something that I don't give a shit about. Like, there's only one way that match goes down, the U.S. title match, where it would be interesting for me, and that's Ryback squashing Kalisto, which is like 3 minutes of him just beating the shit out of him. That's not good for WrestleMania, especially not when you have the rest of the card where it's like, well, that's disappointing, and that's disappointing, and that's disappointing.
And it makes the last few months of Kalisto useless.
Oh, well, that's been useless anyway. They pushed him off to the side like he was garbage. He won that U.S. title, dropped it, won it back, and then they were like, let's forget about you for 3 weeks until we need something for Ryback to do. But Neville, I'm sure he would have been in this IC title match if he wouldn't have gotten injured last week. Was it last week or the week before? I think it was last week.
I think it was last week. Now, let's say you just transplant all of these people, even if they just felt like, all right, we're just going to have a multi-man match because we just want to have a multi-man match. It's a necessary thing we have to do. It would have had such a better dynamic with that Ryback Kalisto match. Like, if you include Sin Cara into that match, what you could play off of the Lucha Dragons being in there together.
Yeah, and it's like, well, Sin Cara is going to want to win the match. Is he going to actually fight his partner? And then you got Ryback who's going to be like, it's all about being big. And then they can tie into that within the ladder match thing and be like, okay, well, if you're the tall guy, then are you going to be the one that climbs up the highest and whatever? And shit, you could even throw this out there. Just a stupid idea that I wouldn't love, but it's just an extra little thing you can add in there. Make it so Ryback has a little bit of fear of heights if you want to. Just to make it something interesting. Like they could have done that. They could have had Kalisto do moves off the top of the ladder. Like, I'm
glad you mentioned a fear of heights because that leads to the conclusion of my argument. Let's look back at last year's WrestleMania multi-man match build. Do you remember what the big thing with that was?
Other than just Barrett's like, hey, I got an IC title. Let's have a ladder match.
Well, here's the thing. Barrett had an IC title. But then everyone else had it too because they kept stealing it. Specifically R-Truth. Right. So you actually had involvement of everyone getting into this IC title mix. And it actually felt like it was building to a multi-man match. Mm-hmm. That was how you do it. This is not how you do it. And this is why, I don't know. I think you just got a lucky guess. There was no building to an IC title match here.
I think that this wasn't a lucky guess. This was just a matter of me being able to be cynical enough about the product.
Okay.
It's the type of thing where I wasn't giving them any more credit than to do something as lame as this. And they proved me unfortunately right.
Moro Supremo saying this feels so forced. Absolutely. 100%
definitely does.
Forced.
Oh, I defend the idea that I've been saying for weeks that this would happen, but that doesn't mean I wanted it. That's the thing. Like, I'm really disappointed with most of the matches for this year's WrestleMania. And even though I'm going to like this, because these people that are involved, at least the majority of them, are entertaining, it's still something that, to me, just kind of feels like last minute, let's throw these guys into a match because we don't want them in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And that match.
Oh, by the way, that's happening. We finally got a confirmation on that. We got to see Big Show standing next to the statue again, in case you missed that.
Mm-hmm. Well, last week they announced it.
Oh, did they? Oh.
Yeah, they followed suit with what they've been doing lately, where they're announcing stuff outside of Raw.
Oh,
and if you don't follow, like, the website or the dirt sheets or whatever, then you kind of lose track. Like, they actually announced a match on a pre-show tonight, and it's not on the website yet.
Is that Lana Brie match?
It's Brie, Natalya, Paige, and who's the other one? Alicia Fox against Lana, Naomi, Tamina, and another partner to be determined. Which is like, why isn't that just Summer Rae?
I wonder if it'll be like, maybe like Eva Marie.
Ugh. God, you really want to sell me on a match at WrestleMania? You don't put Lana and Eva Marie together.
I mean, unless I'm going to be there. It
is a little odd that they don't have Summer Rae in the mix, though. It's almost as if they're specifically like, well, we got this one woman left. but let's hold off in case we don't want to put her in there.
I saw your crusty post about having to read the books for Star Wars, and this kind of reminds me of that exact same situation.
Yeah, side note, fuck Star Wars. I don't want to read all this shit. Oh, you would find out what the Hosnian system is if you read the books. Well, I should learn in the fucking movie. God damn it, Disney and WWE. That's the next step. WWE is going to release books about their fucking...
gosh. They do have that big reading thing they do during WrestleMania.
Yeah, the WrestleMania reading challenge where you can find out what matches are scheduled for the card. All the little kids are going to be like... Lana for
Okay. We had. What else did we have tonight? Well, we could talk about that AJ Styles Kevin Owens match. That was our first match of the night. These guys went out there, and I expected this to be more like what they had on SmackDown. 10 minutes at most. It was going to end in some type of interference. I was mostly bright, except they gave it a lot more time. I mean, this was an awesome match aside from the ending, which was Chris Jericho coming out, causing a distraction, allowing Owens to get the distraction roll-up.
It was kind of blah or whatever, but it was a good match itself.
The
ending was like, nah.
I mean, it was expected.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And it leaves it open for these guys to have a match a later time, which I knew as soon as I saw them advertise this match was happening, there were going to be people upset. That was like, they're giving this match away? Why isn't this on a big event? And
this didn't give it away all that much.
No.
Now, if they wrestle each other the next 5 weeks, then it's a different story.
Yes, and also it's not like these are two legends facing off against each other for the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, this is AJ Styles, who, if you listen to how the crowd treated him later in the night, obviously they don't care that much about him. Kevin Owens is getting there. He's almost to that level where I think he could be a main event player. He still needs a little more seasoning. But AJ Styles needs a bit more work. So this was a fine TV match they put together. I mean, you can't just separate everybody forever. You'll never have matches on TV, or you'll just keep having fucking Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz over and over again.
And then it'll be like, well, we've had those 10 Dolph Ziggler Miz matches. Let's throw them on an IC title match.
Yeah.
By the way, side note, if we are going to have books about storylines, we should call them storybooks. I had to do it. You got to cut to the next time that we saw Jericho in them, or are you going to wait until later to talk about that?
I guess we could talk about that. Yeah, Jericho had a match against Fandango, of all people.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
They advertised that as a WrestleMania rewind, which I don't know why we would want to remind people of WrestleMania 29. It's a terrible thing to do, although that was probably the best match of the night, thinking back on it.
It would have been, yeah.
I didn't even see what went on throughout the match. I saw Wago say something about Fandango looking in great shape. That's good. But by the time I got back, it was already to where AJ Styles was interfering. He came out and he got in the ring pretty much demanding that they had to have their match at WrestleMania. And then AJ Styles, you could hear them chanting, AJ Styles, AJ Styles. Silence. Come on, guys, AJ Styles. And they just start playing his music to cut the awkward silence out.
And then there was that really awkward delivery from AJ Styles of the Y2 Jackass thing. Y2 Jackass. Oh my god.
And then it all finished up with him going, please clap.
You might as well have. For two guys that have had, a lot of interest from a lot of the audience, this tanked tonight. And it made Fandango look like shit too, because it was like, Fandango, man, that guy's still around and all that, and he lost.
Well, he couldn't have dropped down any further, so I'm not too hurt for him.
It's got to feel bad for Fandango, though. He gets finally on TV, and he gets treated like a jobber, while Zack Ryder gets put in an IC title match at WrestleMania. He's just like, God damn it, why can't I be in this?
Zack Ryder's got something going on both shows now. Actually, are they still doing the Hype Bros? I think I heard something about Mojo Rawley on his way out.
He probably should be at this point, but I think that they're still doing it. They taped so many episodes of NXT that basically it's just live events right now.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what's going on with that. We had Dean Ambrose receiving another gift this week. He got Barbie the Bat last week, and this week he received a gift from Terry Funk. This one being a chainsaw. Okay. I'll buy that Dean Ambrose may bust out a barbed wire bat in his match against Brock Lesnar, but you're telling me that he is going to use a chainsaw? I know Brock Lesnar is a beast, but really?
Maybe they really are getting desperate at WrestleMania, and they're like, and then we're going to carve up Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, get that white meat.
I did like the promo, though, as awkward as it was. And it was awkward, not only just because of the background. It was like, why are they meeting up in this like restaurant or whatever? But Terry Funk, his delivery was so good. It was just like, if I had a son, I'd want him to be like you. And if I had a daughter, here's a chainsaw.
Yeah, that part was real. If I had a daughter, they just like, I think maybe he thought he finished the sentence or something. I don't know what happened.
I just love that they didn't even edit that out at the rewind of it. It wasn't like, let's just cut right to him giving the chainsaw. Let's keep that in there, that awkward pause.
Silent with the Doom saying, my favorite part, Byron says, is that Terry Funk 30 seconds into it.
It took him 30 seconds.
It's like, just they're already talking out of nowhere. Byron's like, is that Terry Funk? You guys, is that Terry Funk?
Hey, at least he got the name right and didn't say, like, is that Chainsaw Dory?
Yeah, of all things, they're going to reference a Terry Funk, too. Chainsaw Charlie. I mean, I guess that was WWE's version of him.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe next week he's going to give him the pantyhose to wear over his face, too.
I bet Ambrose would still make it look cool.
He'd look like, what's that horror movie that came out a couple years ago where all the people wear those masks? Strangers? Was that it? Or was that other masks?
You're lost on me in that one.
I don't know. It's some horror movie where some bullshit happens and it sucks, I'm sure. Because horror movies are terrible.
A bunch of white people die. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
We had our continuation of the League of Nations and New Day feud with a singles match between Big E and Rusev. There was a bunch of backwards jaw jacking going on at the beginning. The only thing really I had to note of this is when New Day was making fun of the League of Nations, they like seemed to enjoy it. Like they were like just laughing and smiling when they were doing it. Wade Barrett like throws his arms in the air, goes boom when they make fun of him. Like, yeah, they're making fun of me now. It's my turn. And then
he's like, you got me.
And then Rusev starts taking a shower.
That was, what the fuck, dude? Like,
and it's not even like he just poured the water on his head. Like he pours it into his armpits and starts rubbing it like he's got soap there.
Easily one of the most confusing things I've seen in a long time. I don't get it. Like, was that before or after they called them trash?
I think that started with the whole trash thing, so everything was after that.
So it was him just kind of going, okay, well, if I'm trash, I'm washing myself off, which is like, dude, why are you acknowledging that you're trash?
Oh, I didn't even put that together. Maybe that is what that was.
Even if it was that, which it might not have been. It might have just been him doing it because they're all fucking weird for some reason. But even if it was like, that's an odd reaction. If somebody calls you trash, to be like, well, I need to wash myself off then, instead of like, dude, I'll kick your ass. Don't call me trash.
Yeah, they were all smiles. This was, and this is what just confuses me even further about which ones are the baby faces and which one are the heels. I'm
convinced 100% that New Day are the baby faces, but
only because the crowd's cheering them more. And I think that might be what they're doing, is they're just kind of letting them do their thing and letting the crowd decide who they want to cheer. And they're going with New Day. Which I
got a feeling if next week, or actually more so, if this week, if they look back and they go, we didn't get as strong of a response as we wanted to, I think that we're going to get something on either SmackDown or Raw next week where like the New Day teams up with some baby faces and solidifies it.
Like the Usos or something.
Yeah, New Day
they squashed
and
a long time beef with the Usos.
Like, well, since they've got the 4-on-4 kind of thing, I could see them doing like the New Day plus the Usos plus another person and making it like a 6-on-6 kind of thing.
Yeah, they could totally do that.
Oh God, just don't make it New Day plus Goldust plus R-Truth plus the Usos.
Ask and you shall receive.
Ugh.
We had a Divas match. Natalya versus Charlotte. I couldn't even stand trying to pay attention to this match because they had Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch on commentary, and I more thought it was freaking cats being raped. It was so fucking brutal to try to listen to these women complain to each other.
And what they were saying wasn't even good. Like the whole like meh, 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 meh stuff that's bad enough, but there was a part in it, and I don't remember exactly verbatim what they said, but there was like a good maybe like 40 seconds or so where they were doing this back and forth of Sasha saying, "I've never been pinned, I've never submitted," and Becky saying, "Yeah, well, technically I beat you," and Sasha being like, "Technically what?" And then technically I beat you, and well, technically you didn't, and technically this, and it was just kind of like, will you two shut up? Who cares? Charlotte's going to win the match, and you're all going to keep bickering, and one of you is going to win the fucking title at WrestleMania.
You have to know JBL was probably saying that in his head.
Oh, yeah. If they would have cut to, like, the commentary table, he probably would have been, like, face-palming the whole time, just kind of like, oh, god damn it.
He wouldn't even have been face-palming. He would have had that look where, like, he's just looking off into space, and you could just see, like, the thoughts of murder going through his head.
He starts actually, like, bonding with Byron Saxton, like, well, you know what, in comparison, Byron, you're not that bad, buddy. Then as soon as they leave, he's just kind of like, nah, I'm just kidding. Fuck you, Byron.
And on top of that, the match wasn't even very good. And Undertaker123 in the chat is saying, he's saying the match at Roadblock was Wayne better, and I agree, it was Wayne better.
It was definitely not Wayne Brady.
Yeah. So I think Charlotte won, as she probably should have. But what an awful segment. I really try not to just shit on these women's segments, but holy crap.
And it wasn't even the worst women's segment of the night.
What else was there?
We had that Todd Chrisley promo.
Oh, you hated that?
Oh, I hated that so much. I mean, we've got the, like, we just announced, even though you wouldn't ever know it because all you're doing is watching the WWE program you're supposed to be watching, you know, makes sense, right? But we did get a match announced between Naomi being the opposite team of Alicia Fox, and then it starts off as them just being buddy backstage. And it was just kind of like, you remember Todd Chrisley, everybody? He's got a show, and there's Snickers. So Nia Jax is going to pop up and kill them all.
I think it was going off of the Total Divas crowd thing. Like, oh, we have all these reality show stars together here.
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. This was not for us. This would have been a great commercial probably to air during Total Divas. Or, like, the transition between the show and Chrisley.
Right, yeah, something like that. Or if you want to do it during Chrisley to tie into that, or anything like that would have been better. I think when they put this on Monday Night Raw, they expect to get a better reaction than they ever get.
I thought it was funny, you know, because I'm not trying to look at it from a storyline perspective. I'm looking at it as we see those Snickers commercials all the times where it's just someone being bitchy and then they eat the Snickers and they turn into who they actually are. Like, they had that one with the Marilyn Monroe. They probably played 3 or 4 times tonight. It was just like that.
I've blocked that out eventually, you know.
Yeah, well, it was just
I hate Marilyn Monroe.
It was just like that, but with the WWE characters. And with Chrisley being as the bitchy character, which is hilarious. So I thought it was funny. It was just me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who is it that's in that Marilyn Monroe? Is that William Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe, yeah.
It is William Dafoe. Okay, I couldn't tell. Wasn't quite sure. I'm not used to seeing him in a dress. So
I don't think that anybody is, but if they are, I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
I mean, there is that deleted scene in Spider-Man.
Christ. Undertaker123 asks, has Chrisley ever been on Raw? I believe he was there, like, just like as a guy in a seat. You know how, like, they'll cut to someone sitting in the third row, like, oh, look, we got this celebrity here.
Yeah, he definitely was. It was him and his kid, and they were doing the whole, like, I'm waving.
Yeah, are you still on me? Like, okay.
Yeah. Should I pretend that I'm beating up my son? Punch, ha ha ha. It's all smiles.
Yeah, that pretty much summed up any time they do those.
Unless you do the opposite, where it's I'm like a rapper or I'm one of the football players or something like that, and I just want to like
you don't care.
You gotta act like you don't care, but you might like pump up your shirt.
Once in a while.
You show a little gangster sign, you pump your shirt a bunch of times or whatever like that, or you just like smile with your sunglasses on because you're wearing that inside. Same shit all the time, over and over again.
I'm trying to look through to see if there's anything I missed. Oh, yes. R-Truth versus Bubba Ray Dudley. Escalates until both Dudley boys eventually start trying to beat up R-Truth. Goldust comes for the save, but they just toss him aside because he's a jabroni, and then the Usos come down and fight them off.
I hate this Goldust R-Truth thing, but I kind of felt bad for them tonight because it was like, I'll save you, buddy. Nah, I'm fucked too.
Yeah, right? It was like the poor puppy
like,
that like tried to jump across the ravine to save its master, and it just like fell down or like made the whole situation worse or something.
Right, then they both drown, and the Usos are like, oh, Christ, we'll do something then. Stand aside, a real tag team is coming through. Poor Goldust, poor R-Truth, but goddamn it, don't put those two in the match. Don't make it a triple threat. Those two need to just be eliminated in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
I mean, why would they even put these teams together? Like this, and this isn't for the titles, right? So what are these teams even... I still understand why the Dudleys and the Usos are facing each other.
It was like 5 weeks ago they started arguing.
One of them stepped on the other's toes or something. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Something else that had a little bit more of a heat behind the feud is Triple H and Roman Reigns. Now, Roman, at the very start of the show, met Stephanie McMahon in the ring and was just kind of like a dick. Like, I don't know where they're going with Roman here, but he was just kind of a dick to Stephanie. She goes to slap him, but he grabs her hand and pushes it away. You know what I hate is that when women do that and a guy stops him, then they start complaining about how the guy is like holding their arm. Like, let go.
And it's like, you went to slap him. You know, what's he gonna do? Hit you back? That's even worse.
Yeah, like I just stopped you from slapping. Like, what are you gonna do?
It's that equality argument of certain people in certain situations. Not everybody, mind you, but a lot of people argue for equality, but it's not equality. It's I want the benefits. And if anybody bitches and complains about this and says like Roman Reigns was, like damaging in any way or something, fuck you. Come on, he didn't hit her. He didn't. And even then, it's a wrestling show. It's fake anyway, so who cares? Randy Orton gave her a fucking RKO.
All right, Vince McMahon beat the shit out of Stephanie the day before her wedding.
Yeah, there you go. So, but he was acting like a dick, though. Like, his new character seems to be just like, listen, shut up, bitch.
Well,
fuck everybody.
Yeah, it used to be, sup, baby girl. Yeah, now it's like, fucking cunt. Because later in the show,
stand outside.
Triple H comes to pick up Stephanie, and they're going to take off in their Escalade, but Roman Reigns, so cheesy, they have the metal garage gate lifting up, and he's just standing there on the other side in his all-black outfit, comes in, pulls Triple H out of the Escalade, because somehow he didn't see him approaching before. I don't know what they were doing in the Escalade to keep him distracted. But he beats Triple H up for about a minute around the area there, and then Triple H dives into the car and runs away. Or drives away.
He dives in the car and then runs.
It's like a Flintstones car.
Yeah, the Flintstones. That's the same joke I was going to make. You just hear that. New member of the Authority, Dino.
Wait, didn't they have I was going to say they should do a WWF Flintstones crossover, but I think they did.
Oh, yeah. They did that, didn't they? Or they did Scooby-Doo one at the very least.
Well, they did the Scooby-Doo one first, and I think that's what led to them doing the Flintstones one.
It's all tying in together. That's got more of a setup than the Usos and the Dudley Boys.
Well, they're going to do one with the Jetsons, so we're going to go to the future where Eric Rowan is a legend. It's going to be great.
Oh, okay. I'll watch that one.
Yeah.
This was awkward, though. It was weird that it was like, we're going to open up that the door to go to the outside, and Roman Reigns is just standing there like he's been waiting for 20 minutes. I don't know. I'm not digging it. Like, they're trying real hard to make him seem like he's a badass. And
they had to do that tonight when they were in Philly, because you and I know very well how Philly will treat Roman Reigns.
So the last time the Roman Reigns was there, he got a big pop when he beat Sheamus.
That was a fluke.
Yeah, that was more so anti-Sheamus, I think, than pro Roman Reigns. Because Royal Rumble for sure was not pro Roman Reigns.
No.
And
Even the powers of The Rock could not save Roman Reigns on that night.
Right. Now, I got to imagine that this is this type of situation where if they would have given him any kind of a promo that he's normally done, where it's like, I'm going to be a little cutesy, like the tater tot jokes and stuff like that, no matter where he would have been shit on, but Philly would have really ripped into him. Like, that would have been just a massacre. So they kept him a little bit more reserved this time around and whatever, and that might have been the best course of action, but it's not doing them really any favors.
I'm still really hoping for this double turn at WrestleMania. That's the best case scenario for me in this matchup.
Like, actually having Triple H become a full-on babyface?
Oh, yes.
Like, going after that.
Mm-hmm. Well, not like fighting him anymore, but I mean something that's going to turn him into a babyface to the crowd.
Oh, not like the next night on Raw, he's still a babyface?
Well, he'll still be a babyface after that, yeah. I'm sorry, I thought you meant like continue fighting Roman Reigns as a babyface chasing the title. No, I don't.
I was thinking like if you had a full-on turn, then you have Roman Reigns as a heel going forward and Triple H as a babyface. Then you have like the Authorities now babyface kind of a thing.
Well, the Authority's going to kind of get pushed aside, but I think we're going to get that happening, the double turn. Shane McMahon's going to take over the company, and slowly he's going to become a heel leader, and that's when Triple H and Stephanie are going to come back in as the babyfaces to try to get it back. That's perfect world. I think it's what could happen.
Tell you what, if you want to try to pull that off, do Shane versus Undertaker earlier in the night, just enough of an earlier time where they can have a backstage segment and he can say, look, if you retain your title tonight, then I won't fire you. If you lose, you're gone. And then you can have Roman Reigns, maybe he wins, and it's like that kind of a thing or whatever, and Triple H kind of looks like, you know, he's like sad based off of that or whatever. But I'm thinking this is just another case where WWE's they're kind of shut their ears, shut their eyes, and be like, nah, people will cheer them, and they won't.
Well, if that's the case, then just go ahead and do like we were saying and put him in the Hall of Fame next year. Because you're going to take it that far.
Hall of Fame this year instead. Sting's going to go out there to make his acceptance speech, and Roman Reigns is going to pop up, Superman punch him, and be like, yeah, it's mine now. I'm the fucking Hall of Famer.
And then Sting's going to be like, you know what? Whatever, Roman. And just throw him off. So how about all those rumors that were going around that Sting is going to be announcing his retirement, and then he came out this week and was like, oh, no, I'm not retiring. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, he's playing coy a little bit, too. He said, I'm not officially retired. Then he also kind of said that his neck's okay. Which he better not fucking retire with that goddamn Undertaker match. If you know what I mean.
I want him to be healthy more than anything.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's obvious. I wouldn't want to be like, well, given the option of he wrestles Undertaker and dies at that night or doesn't wrestle, I'm going to go with sit this one out.
No, I mean, you know what? That would be the perfect way for Undertaker and Sting to go out there where they both die at the end.
He becomes a literal Undertaker.
A littler Undertaker?
Literal.
Oh, a literal Undertaker. I think he said he becomes a littler Undertaker.
Well, then he could be that midget from the Good Show.
Yeah, it could be the midget. Will be the little Undertaker that used to be Sting.
The littler Undertaker, otherwise known as Voice Midget.
Oh, here comes the new character. Move over, Time Cow.
The new character.
Okay, so we come to what was the end of Raw. Our big main event 2 weeks before WrestleMania. Dean Ambrose and Braun Strowman.
Boo.
Wow. So we had this actually wasn't too bad of a dark promo with the whole Wyatt family where it was kind of circling around going to all the Wyatt family members, and it ends on Braun Strowman talking about how he's having a match with Dean Ambrose and he's going to sacrifice him to the family. I didn't hate that too much. That was fine. Except what I hate what they do with these promos a lot is rather than just keeping the camera focused on who's talking, they'll tend to pull out and show like the arena with the Titantron on and people like watching it. It just completely sucks out the emotion of them talking. Not the emotion, the immersiveness.
I was paying so little attention, I didn't even know that Harper and Rowan talked. Like, I saw that Strowman said something, and it was just kind of like, typical. It's all bullshit. It's the same shit all the time. I wrote in my, I was doing the live coverage of it this time around, and I said, just Google a bunch of ominous-sounding words, and you've got a Bray Wyatt promo. It's all just like the destruction and the annihilation of devastation run. Every fucking week, so didn't matter. I was like, all right, well, is he going to get counted out?
The Island of Destruction of Devastation.
It does sound like a fucking shitty indie band, though. Where they don't do like rock music, they do like death metal, ska, or some mix of a bunch of shit.
How the fuck did this end again?
DQ. It was Dean Ambrose brought a chair in because he got to keep Braun Strowman looking strong.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, this will be legal at Mania, but not here." That's what happened. Yeah. And then the bug went on with Dean Ambrose just posing on the ramp.
And one of the better parts of the episode, which was totally unintentional as far as like something funny, where Ambrose is kind of threatening Paul Heyman, and he's just like, "Just an advocate, just an advocate, just an advocate." He's gonna be like, "Okay, well, I'm not gonna hit you then. You're just an advocate."
So you can't hit a man with glasses.
Right.
You can't hit an advocate.
Oh man, if there was an advocate with glasses, you really can't hit him.
Well, we've come to the end, which means we have one thing left to do. We have the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to talk about the best part of the show, the worst part of the show, and the must-void part of the show. Yeah, whatever that means. We'll do it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. If you have one, drop it in the chat, and we will read it after we do ours. Tony, do you have a good, bad, and ugly for this show?
Yes, I do. I have two goods, actually. One of them is that whole Chainsaw Charlie thing, because I did laugh quite a bit. And another thing I laughed at, which was just an offhand comment, skinny Seth Rogen. So that was kind of funny.
Good. Even though we've been making jokes about him being fat lately.
Yeah, it is still kind of true, though. Let's see.
Seth Rogen has lost weight.
Has he lost weight again? Because I know he gained a little bit more.
Oh, that's right. He did gain it back.
But I don't think that he's like anywhere near as bad as he used to be. So Sami Zayn's still a skinny Seth Rogen, and Seth Rogen's a skinny Seth Rogen. And then if Sami Zayn keeps gaining this weight, like we keep talking about, then he eventually just be Seth Rogen from the band. My bad. I don't even know which one to give this to. I had down the Rusev showering with the bottle at first, and then I had poor Fandango, and then I had Y2 Jackass, and I guess if you look at the combined factor of all of it, it's going to be that Y2J Fandango match. Just poor Fandango looking like garbage. AJ Styles and Jericho, their feud took a little bit of a dive for this episode. So bad on those guys. I guess good on Rusev for taking a shower. Maybe that's how you can kind of reimburse that. You got to keep those potatoes growing. But the ugly is going to go to Becky and Sasha on the mic. Woof.
Yeah. My good, I'm going to give to the AJ Styles Kevin Owens match. Those guys went out there and got that crowd lit on fire to start the show off. Bad, I am going to give to this whole setup to this multi-man IC title match. What a fucking forced together nonsense way of building a match. Ugly, I will also give to those women on the commentary table. Love them in the ring, hate them on the commentary table. My favorite commercial tonight, I'm going to give to that Snickers commercial. So there. And also because I didn't have anything else prepared for it. There isn't always a good commercial every week, so that's not something that can really be expected.
Someone would have brought up a couple ideas. The Skylanders kind of stuff that they were doing.
The Skylanders?
Yeah, they're like doing a tie-in now with Skylanders and WWE. Kind of reminded me a little bit of the Karate Fighters, how they kept advertising like a toy with WWE stuff.
Are they having like fighting tournaments with it?
No, not that much. That would be fucking awesome if that were true.
Yeah, when you said like karate fighters. I was hoping they would have like a tournament of them fighting each other with some toy. That'd be great.
That would be amazing. Fuck, do that on Up, Up, Down, Down.
Well, they're kind of doing it with that game show they're doing. You know what I'm talking about?
Night?
Game night? Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty, though.
Well, it's because Heath Slater's hosting it.
That's a big factor. Best episode was when the Up, Up, Down, Down crew was on that one. They just took over, made it entertaining.
I saw a really funny one with the Usos going against the Ascension. And they were doing like movies, and somehow the Notebook came up, and one of the Ascension guys was like, "Hey, that's your favorite movie, Uso." Like, just seeing him joke like that was like, okay, this is weird. Oh yeah, we've got Toys R Us or K Jewelers. I don't remember which ones those ones were.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the sillier sponsor for WWE in general? Okay, so K Jewelers had that stupid one with the Usos doing that proposal that I hated. And then Toys R Us, I don't know what their latest one is, but I remember they have that one where the kid just walks into the store and then like picks one off the shelf, and it's like, oh, he picked the right one, JR.
Yeah, and like Sheamus is in that or something, isn't he?
I think so.
That was when he was babyface, I think.
Yeah.
He should have kicked a little kid. Then I would have liked Sheamus more.
I think we made that same joke when we saw that commercial the first time.
It's still true then, damn it.
Alright, so read some of the good, bad, and uglies out of the chat. Kenneth Cade says, good, AJ versus Owens. Bad, Dean versus Strowman. Ugly, Divas on commentary. Ben Guest 1, good, KO's announcing. Bad, Sasha and Becky on commentary. Ugly, Charlotte's face. And he says that's for Drew.
Yeah.
Moro Supremo. The good, that match with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. Bad, that commercial of Snickers. And ugly, the way that table had to be with Dean and the chainsaw. Oh yeah, the table was left pretty ugly.
I thought you were going to go with ugly, the way that Nia Jax is going to devour that Snickers. She's a monster.
Undertaker 123. Good, KO versus AJ. Bad, Snickers commercial. Ugly, Divas on commentary. A lot of similar answers going on around here. Silent Wind of Doom. Good, Kevin Owens misleading introductions. Bad, the name KO Mania. Yeah, that was a pretty fucking awful name. He kept using that all damn night. Ugly. What's the point of Fandango with no entrance? There is none. I do miss that entrance. And they had the big rig come down from the onto the stage with all the streamers on it and shit.
The pose.
Oh, the fucking the firework thing that went off with him in the pose. Yeah, reminded me of Sid. Back when Sid had that.
What if Sid had that gimmick back in the day?
Where he came out and posed with that going off?
No, if he did the ballroom dance.
I don't think he has the coordination to do that.
I don't think he has the legs anymore to do it.
Okay. Well, I had a brand new game set to go this week, but unfortunately we have no one else here to play it.
Yeah, win. Suck it, Drew.
Tony wins.
That's official that Drew's going to do the plugs next week.
Yeah. Is Wago okay? Wago's actually back at home in jolly old England, visiting his family. He should be back just in time for WrestleMania, I believe. So, you can see him then. Until then, he will not be with us. He's taking a bit of a vacay.
He's no longer with us.
Yeah, he's no longer with us here in the United States. He heard Donald Trump was potential to be elected, and he got his ass out of here.
Smart man.
All right, so let's just do regular plugs this week. Tony, tell the world what you got.
Well, if you are not sick and tired of hearing my voice from this episode or from the Marvel Netflix Daredevil Minuteman review or the Marvel Netflix Daredevil Review Point or the Batman and Superman Movie Club or the Batman and Superman Hero Box Unboxing or the Pop in a Box Unboxing, then you can pay attention to more stuff coming my way, because within the next couple of days, we've got Smack Talk coming from smarkoutmoment.com, which is going to be the mailbag questions you guys have sent in, and we're going to end up doing our NXT TakeOver predictions, and I got to do a Minuteman review of Batman v Superman and a review point of Batman v Superman, and then I'm going to hang myself, because this is too many podcasts in a week.
Yeah, this is the Too Many Plugs convention here for Tony.
Exactly. Not enough planes, though.
The fuck was that guy doing with his suitcase?
Not buying enough games. Still too many of them.
Folks, if you enjoyed this show, we are live here every week following Raw as soon as it goes off the air. Tune your browsers to megapowersradio.com, the place to be with all interaction coming from you guys through tweets, chat room, voicemail, voice midgets, whatever else we got that we could keep you guys involved. If you enjoy my work, follow me on Twitter at MRPADEN. I am also doing pretty well with my work over on Twitch, so if you enjoy me, follow me on Twitch to see me play in all types of video games. I just had a big 100 followers celebration this weekend, gave away a huge game pack. Got a lot going. Matter of fact, I'm spending a lot of time this week playing Batman and Superman games to hype up the Batman v Superman movie coming out. I did a straight playthrough of Batman Arkham Asylum last night. Took about 10 hours. I'm dumb. Why do I keep doing that?
Do you have Superman 64 on the list?
If I can get it to work, I will probably play that, yes.
You need to give me a heads up on that, because I need to watch you rage quit on that one. Also, you need to broadcast Julia Child.
Julia Child is, they finished her marathon, but today was Bob Ross Monday. That's always fun to watch, too. Oh, and there's this other one I found. I don't know if you saw. I linked it on Facebook. It was this guy who took like a photo of the Queen of England and just like photoshopped out the mouth and then had the camera over his mouth, so he was talking well as the Queen of England while he was playing games. Undertaker 123. I play on PC, so I do a lot of Steam. I do have a PS4 and I have a Wii U, but I don't play on them very much, so I'm more online. Anyway, we're wrapping up here, guys. If you want to chat, find me on the Facebook group, the Megamaniacs. Tweet to us. Find me on Twitch, all those places. We'll talk more. But for now, we're going to start wrapping things out of here. For Tony Mango, I'm Mike Payton. This has been the Raw Post Show, and until next time, we'll catch y'all on the flip-flop.
Attention maggots, this is Sergeant Slaughter from WWE and G.I. Joe, the real American hero. You're listening to Mega Power Radio. Don't touch that dial. And that's an order.